Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to the Stay or Go podcast. I have another very special guest today. Would you like to introduce yourself, friend?
Hi, my name's Micole.
Micole,
With an M.
Micole, not Nicole, for those who may be confused. So, you are here because, once again, just like Jessica, we just had a fun weekend together of you guys visiting me in Atlanta, basically over the whole state of Georgia. We didn't even really do Atlanta. We did Helen, Georgia, and we went to Tybee Island, Georgia, on the beach, and then a little bit of Atlanta. But do you have a favorite stop?
To my surprise, the river tubing.
River tubing in Helen, Georgia. Okay.
Even though my tube tipped over twice, it's okay.
We almost lost her.
Yeah.
We really actually did. We detached from you, remember?
Yes, we did. That did happen. And then I saw two fake snakes, and I thought they were real.
Yes, fake snakes. Micole does not like anything bug or reptile or...
Reptiles are usually fine, but he had the snake on a stick, and it looked real. But yeah, but any bug, I just can't do it. It's kind of really embarrassing.
Yeah, no, it's okay. Anyway, so Micole is here, and this is her first time visiting me in Atlanta because at my last apartment I had roaches, and obviously Micole doesn't want to visit.
I would have loved to visit.
Because
I was just checking in on the issue.
Yeah, she would check in and be like, "Did you figure out the issue yet?" "No, not yet." "Okay, see you in a couple months.
Yeah.
Then I'll visit." Okay. Anyway, so how do I know you, Micole?
Where we first met was probably either Biddy basketball or Dunmore softball.
Yeah, so Micole is another high school friend for those who do not know. But we, like you said, actually probably knew each other starting in elementary school, playing on basketball, softball teams together.
Yes.
And I'm curious, I think I already know the answer to this. What was your first impression of me?
Well,
Same as Jessica? Did you hate me?
I wouldn't say I hated you. I would say we just had very different ways about everything. Like, you had a totally different friend group than I did, and everyone kind of knew who you were, and you talked to anyone just freely. Where I barely said a word except for, "Can I use the bathroom?"
Micole was mute the first few years of her life in elementary and middle school. Okay, so you didn't love me, but that's fine, because then what happened in high school? When did you feel like, oh, she's actually okay?
Yeah, I guess you just came around more, and I was like, oh, Jenna LaPaca. I already kind of knew you, so I got to know you more, and especially when you joined band, I just learned more about you and kind of grew to love you.
Oh, thanks, Mickey. Same. I didn't play the flute at all during our
You tried.
2 years.
I heard you.
I tried. I faked it pretty much every band class. You were really good.
Thank you.
And tell everyone what you played.
I played the flute since 4th grade. Thank you, Wayne Smith.
Yes.
And then I picked up the
Shout out.
tenor saxophone for the marching band and jazz band because I thought it was cool.
And tell people what your position was. You were important in the tenor sax thing, weren't you? Senior year, you were some lead.
Oh, yeah, I was a woodwind captain.
Woodwind captain, baby.
Yes.
That's very
Got
impressive.
a cool pin for it.
Yeah, pins. Those were the things back in marching band. You had pins all
collecting
over
them down
for
the
Friday night
uniform.
football games. Yeah, it was cool, Nate. It was really cool. And everyone else listening who thinks marching band is lame, it was cool at
was the
Dunmore
shit.
High School. Yeah. Cavalcades, cranny cookies. I probably shouldn't even be
those are
saying
great.
that. Cavalcades were fun. You didn't like them. Jess didn't like them. Did you like them?
I love them.
Yeah, they were good.
Morgan
time.
State was always the best performance.
I don't remember any of the schools, but I just remember going. Faking playing. But see, yeah, we had fun faking it till we made it.
Yes.
But anyway, so we are here for the Stay or Go podcast to talk about, when you've had to make a really hard decision before between staying in that situation or going or leaving it. So what's the first thing that comes to mind for you when you think about a stay or go decision?
I've learned to call myself a runner.
Okay, so it sounds like you're a go.
Yes, definitely go. Not when the going gets tough, but when it just doesn't seem to fit. If it's not working for you, there's always something else to look for. There's always the phrase, the grass is always greener. And a lot of people don't really agree with that, but I can definitely advocate for that. The grass is greener.
Yes.
You just gotta look for it.
Heck yeah. Okay. So, since you're a runner, where have you run from before?
Yeah, so growing up in Dunmore, it was great growing up there, but being there for college, I went to the University of Scranton. So being in Scranton was till senior year of college was a very long time. So I definitely want to get out of there as soon as possible. And ever since I was a child, I wanted to move to New York City.
Yes, New York. And what was it about New York that you loved as a child?
Definitely the Broadway.
I was going to say Broadway, Wicked, we love.
Shows. Also, just having something to do, a new place to go to. I have a list. There's this app called Mapster where I just look on. I'll just add different places I'd want to try and go see.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Yeah, like a bucket list.
Yes.
So you did that, and you loved Broadway growing up, and ever want to be on Broadway? Was that ever a dream?
If anything, with band, I would want to perform in like the pit band orchestra.
Yes.
Like that was always something I thought about, but it's more of a part of the audience.
Yeah.
Like seeing Idina Menzel perform would be incredible.
Micole is one of the biggest Idina Menzel fans that I know. What is your favorite Idina Menzel performance, or like show or movie, whatever that she's in?
It's an old one. She has this album called Barefoot at the Symphony, and her performance of Defying Gravity is probably the best I've ever heard.
Yes, Defying Gravity. We all love. We scream sing that all the time on any of our road trips. We actually didn't this weekend. We'll have to do that tomorrow. So we have, we have time together to do that. Anyway, moving on. So New York, you said you wanted to maybe live in New York one day, and so once you graduated college, you decided, all right, now's the time.
I fired away job applications left and right every day, 6 a.m. I recommend firing off the application so it's in the top of their inbox.
Okay, so
that morning.
Their inbox. Who are we talking about here?
The recruiters. So like
On
recruitment
what?
agencies on whatever position it is. I would always just have at least 20 applications lined up and just fire them away at 6 a.m. And then I'll go back to sleep and then check my email in that afternoon.
So I think what you're talking about is LinkedIn. Is this correct?
LinkedIn mostly, yes.
Okay, what else do you use?
There's also Indeed. You can also use like Glassdoor to double check, make sure it's a legitimate company. But mostly LinkedIn. I definitely don't just seclude to LinkedIn. I've gotten jobs from recruitment companies just reaching out to me, and I'll just get added into their
into their list of
yes
potential people. So let me take a step back. My mind, I'm exhausted. You were talking about earlier off the air. How many followers do you have on LinkedIn?
I have roughly over 5,000 followers, and it was to my surprise too. I actually noticed it last year, but it was really just reaching out, making the connections, whether it's being from the same hometown, having the same interests. There's a lot of for me, marketing executives that I love to connect with, just learning about their experiences. I'm on LinkedIn every day. It's like the Instagram, Facebook, TikTok for me. It's my social media addiction.
And do you think it's healthy?
In a way, I think it's healthy, but when Jessica catches me at a bar looking at my LinkedIn, that's where I have my second thoughts.
That's where we're like, maybe not. But, okay, so we're talking about LinkedIn. We're talking about New York. What was the place or platform that accepted you for your first position in New York? Why you moved to New York? Was it on LinkedIn or was it on Indeed or what? What did you?
I actually don't remember. It was probably, I want to say it was LinkedIn. My first boss's name was Valentine. He's great. I love
so we
working
can say
for him.
his name because she's saying nice things about him.
Yes.
Good.
Yeah, and I actually, my first job out of college was in sales.
And what did you think about sales? Should they stay or go?
About sales in general? Oh, sales is definitely to stay. It's where most companies get most of their revenue. Sales teams, I give them a lot of credibility because I absolutely hated it. I was in sales for about 3 years. I stuck with it because I was good at it, and I learned a lot from tours, and the income was there. Not so much on the salary. No salesperson ever works for their salary. It's all in the comp, the commission.
Yep.
And
Commission-based
it
always.
can be really good.
And it can be really bad.
Yes, it can. There are definitely those bad months, and the up and down. Like, I'll feel like I'm top of the world one week, and then in the next paycheck, I'll be sobbing.
I remember these times when you would be like, yeah, I just made this awesome sale, and we'd be literally on our road trip when we were in going to Nashville.
Yes.
And you were working from in the car during
Yes,
our road
I
trip.
was.
That is
Just
toxic.
looking at the buildings. Oh, what company is that? Definitely a lot.
Yeah, but then there'd be times where there's spells, dry spells of nothing, right?
Right, yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
So that's like not good for the mental health, right?
no, it's not.
No. And so, with that, you were there for 3 years, and what made you decide to go to a new position now that you're in? Or was it 2 different jobs?
Yeah, it was 2 different jobs.
Okay.
So my first job was at a startup in Midtown, but then I worked for another more established, bigger company in the financial district. They're right on Water Street, and honestly, I learned a lot from them, and it like really brought to full circle everything I learned about sales. But eventually, the up and down weeks got to me, and there are some issues. There were some issues that happened where I were given promises about things, and then it never happened.
Yeah.
So
Like some trip across
I could
the
have.
country
I
or out of the
totally should have
country.
gone to Europe. I'm gonna I'm totally fine with talking about that. I don't I'm definitely over it.
Are you?
Yes, I'm over it.
So
But-
Micole was basically supposed to be, because of how many sales you
I was
did,
my,
right?
that was my first position. I was an SDR. Anyone who's an SDR out there, keep doing what you're doing.
What does
making huge-
SDR stand for
Oh,
those
sales
who are me?
development representative. Yes.
Okay, thank
It's
you.
like a starting position, setting up calls. Sometimes they'll take the first one. Depends
Okay.
on the company.
Gotcha.
But all I had to do was set up calls, and I had a really great mentor, and she's taught me everything I know.
Who you're still friends with today, right?
Yes, I am.
Yes. Okay. Just checking. And you were supposed to go on this trip because you had
Yes,
the most
I was-
sales or something. Right?
That's and I was the only SDR who qualified, so they really had no one else. If there was no runner-up or anything like that, but they added a rule to disqualify me, and that really hurt. So.
Yeah. And can you talk about, now this is the job that you just, is this the one that you just
that
left?
Yes, I left
and didn't
back
really give
in
anyone
September.
heads up?
It was definitely, I wouldn't say this decision was sudden because I would think about quitting every other day.
Right.
And it
As
was,
we all seem to do at our jobs if you don't like your job.
Right. That it was 5 days in person. Like one day I woke up at 12 p.m. To like a 12 missed call from my manager. And I was like, I'm going to take a sick day.
Yeah.
But it was just like things like that where it's not really, like that's not, in general, that's not really okay. You don't really want to be doing that in your role.
You said 5 days a week?
Yeah, Monday through Friday.
They're all 6 here in Atlanta.
Oh my
For
gosh.
sales. Yeah. But wait, so what hours would you be working if you started work at 12?
Normal business hours were 8:30 to 5, but in sales, like you get however much you put in, or sometimes you might not get any at all. So I'll find myself in that building from 8:30 to 8:30.
Yeah, right. 12 hours, 5 days a week. Yep.
Yes.
Yep, not good. So
Yeah,
tell
so
us.
that one day, I was just sitting at my desk and it was like a dark cloud was raining over my head the whole time. So in the middle of the lunch break, everyone leaves, goes out, and
Gets their
gets
lunch because that's what they
and
do.
some
in New
people
York.
have calls. So my mentor, she was my manager, sitting like kind of across from me. So I saw she had a call at 12, and my VP was across his desk, but he was also preoccupied on that same call because I got him a good lead.
Because
so-
you're awesome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I'm looking at them, looking at my stuff. So as they are looking at their screens, I'm packing my things away. I'm like, all right, let's just see what happens. I want to leave. That's what I
And you're
wanted to do.
saying leave as in for good, not just for the day.
Right, yes.
Get up and
it was
leave.
more, like, what's the term? Irish goodbye? That
Yes,
was it.
you're
I
just
literally
leaving.
packed up, left during lunch. I went home and cracked open a White Claw.
Heck yeah. Sponsor, let's go. White Claws, we love them. They're
Yes.
gluten-free too.
Yeah, now we have this.
Not yet. Please sponsor me. Anyway, so you cracked open that White Claw,
Yes,
and then
and
what
I'm
happened?
sipping away. I call my one colleague. She was having a sick day, so she wasn't in the office. One person I could tell.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, I did tell one person who was still in the office because my friend, I do respect my manager.
Yeah.
I was like, if she freaks out, you can tell her.
If she's like, where did Micole go?
Right.
You can tell
Well,
her
not
I'm
like that,
alive
more
and
like
well.
like freaking out, like actually looking for me.
Mm-hmm.
So that's basically that day. I woke up the next day and I get a few calls from my VP and he leaves a voicemail. Micole, are you coming in the office today? You have work. He's from the UK and I don't really have a great British accent, but I think it's gotten
okay.
better.
It's great. So did you leave him on red? You never called him back?
Well, I just let the phone ring as I was like applying for my unemployment
Uh-huh.
because I definitely want to cash that in.
While you were still employed, though? Like, did they officially say,
well, in
okay,
my
we're
head,
firing
They
you?
just didn't know, but I knew I was unemployed.
Okay. And
Yes,
so did you get the
eventually,
unemployment?
the office manager at the time sent me a very well worded email that I submitted to the Labor New York unemployment, and they happily accepted that I was unemployed because
Okay.
my role was terminated because they couldn't find me.
She was lost. Oh my gosh. Okay. So now you leave that job and you get the second job in New York.
Yes, I definitely have to admit that I was applying for jobs for about 2 months, and it got a little scary.
A little
around
dicey,
the 2 months,
paying the
2
rent
month
in New
mark.
York.
The job hunt is hard.
Yes.
September is usually a good month. It's called the hiring surge. A bunch of companies are building their teams, growing them.
Yeah.
But in those 2 months, I was back-to-back interviews. It was like my new 9 to 5.
Yeah. Interviewing all day. I would hate my life. Did you hate your life?
I didn't hate it because
good.
like I would have breaks once in a while, and just like having a break from my former day job in sales
right.
was great. And the jobs that I was applying to was fully marketing. I wanted to transition from sales to marketing because I saw a lot of alignments, so I figured it was a easy transition.
Yeah. With a lot of experience. And so that job, how long were you at and what did you like about it? Or is this the one that you're still currently working?
Yeah, the job I
Okay.
have now, it's with Medscape. I do digital marketing, and I love it. I'm a huge advocate for the organization. I have been there for about 8 months now, and
Okay.
I only have great things to say. Learning a lot about the marketing world and the different creative teams is definitely a lot better. And I do still work with some salespeople, and they really appreciate that I'm understanding of their difficulties with their clients, hitting their targets.
Yeah.
And I'm just glad I don't have to deal with that anymore.
Yeah, good. And your third job is kind of what you're doing 2 jobs basically
I
right now.
do. I do have a side gig. It's this new company, Things Alive IO. They're an SAP partner.
Will you want this?
Yes, that's
Okay. It's okay to have their names. Okay, continue. Sorry.
Yeah. If they're on my LinkedIn, I'm working directly with the head of sales and the CEO, building the sales team and working on a strategy. Kind of what I did with the my last organization with the SDR teams, revamping strategies that work.
Yeah. And I'm glad that you're loving it, but it is exhausting because you're doing 2 jobs at once.
It
right?
is. Sometimes I forget about the side gig. I definitely have to dedicate some more time to it. My time management just needs a little bit more adjusting.
Yeah. And you need to eat and not forget to eat lunch.
Right. I like this new job I have is fully remote, so I'm just at my desk, and I'm not really one to go in the kitchen and whip up something nice.
Me either. That's
So-
Nathan's job, not mine.
Yeah, so that's why I have Uber One, and it's the reason
Shout
why
out
I
Uber
am-
One, another hopeful sponsor in the future. Just kidding. Continue.
Yeah, I order a lot of food, and being in New York, nothing ever closes, so
Right.
I have options.
The city that never sleeps. So I'm kind of segueing into, you're talking a lot about work. What does Micole do for fun, though? You want to talk about anything that you do out in the city where
Yeah, the nightlife in the city is great.
is
Definitely
great.
wild.
Bussin'.
So can you talk about any wild night that maybe you were happy that you went out or go, if you will, instead of stayed in that night? Do you have any that come to mind? Like, man, this was an insane experience. And I'm happy I did it. And maybe I'll never do it again, but I'm happy I did it.
I wouldn't say specifically like I'm happy I did it, but I never do it again. Like all of my experiences, I think I would do them again.
Okay,
like,
so no regrets and would do them again. Okay.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure the wildest was probably going to this speakeasy at the 28th Street station in New York.
Okay.
It's called or something like that.
If anyone wants
and
to go.
it's this door you knock on twice and they'll let you in if they think that they should.
What is it based on?
What?
What is it based
to this day, I still don't know.
Is it
I've
your
only
appearance? Is it your race?
I think it's everything, and also who you know. Like everything is really about your connections in New York. So I always went whenever my friend would say, "Hey, I'm going to that speakeasy. Want to come?" Be like, yeah. But that first time I went, I have to admit, I had 3 edibles during the workday. So when we were there, I was like out of it. I'm like, where are we? When we were in the train station, I was like, they were like, we're going to a bar. I'm like, oh, we're already here. How do we get here? I walk in, it's this small, about the size of this room.
Yeah.
And there's like a DJ in the corner and everyone's just so chill and dancing, and it's just so exclusive. It felt really weird. So I sat on the couch and just like stared at the lights.
And that was the wildest night of your life in New York City?
One of the wildest. What?
Did you see the new Batman?
No.
Why?
Because they have like
a speakeasy?
like a thing you knock on the door type shit.
I don't remember.
The penguin guy runs it.
Oh.
But she just described it.
Good job describing it. Sorry.
Wow.
But that's the wildest night? Just sitting in a room with edibles?
No, after I Irish goodbye my last job, I had a really great night out in Brooklyn.
Okay.
I have a few friends in Williamsburg, and my one friend's got a moped, so I had a little Lizzie McGuire moment driving. Well, like first I rode backseat on the moped, and then I drove it.
You drove it?
Yeah,
I feel like I didn't know that part of the story.
Yeah, well, I don't think I ever told you this part. Well, he let me drive the moped. I had the helmet on.
Oh,
that's the important part.
Yes,
and
always wear a helmet.
Yeah, and after 3 blocks, I crashed into like one of those like open, like, you know, after COVID they had like the setup where you can like outdoor seating and it's like still that shed. I like crashed into the side of that.
Did you crash into people sitting at a table?
No, like the wooden part of it. But like I wouldn't say crash. It was more like a bumped into it and then tipped over.
Did you break anything or
no?
Mark it up?
My friend was like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, don't worry about it. My bike's
wow,
fine." Yeah.
He's nice. Are you still friends with this person?
Yes.
Yes. Shout out what their name is if you want, but you don't have to. Never mind.
Yeah,
Cut that.
not
That
that
was
one.
awkward. Okay. I can't say his name. Okay. So is there any other stay or go decisions that, even if they're small or big, that you want to talk about, or do you want to move on into our last segment? Anything else you're thinking of? It looks like she's thinking.
I don't know.
Very
like,
deeply.
What is
We
that?
already talked about that. LinkedIn? Oh, are you talking about LSD?
No.
Are you talking about DMT?
Yeah, we
What
could.
Okay. Oh, there we go. DMT. Stay or go.
What? Oh, like that. I didn't.
Yeah.
If we phrase a question like that, I would say stay. But I wouldn't say everyone go do DMT right now.
So can you talk about what? So Micole, you have done it in the past.
Yeah,
It's a
I
fact.
consider myself pretty adventurous.
Yeah, me too.
Like weed's legal in New York, so that's been great.
Yeah.
And it was actually in college where I had the opportunity to do DMT. I had a random friend, and he said he can get it for me because all I've heard is people get it backpacking through Europe.
Oh, okay. So is that how he got it? And he brought it?
No, I don't know how he got it, but it came in like a little capsule, and I smoked it, and it was definitely a trip. There's this thing called blasting off, and I just kept, and like what the initial
Jimmy
blast off,
Neutron?
yeah, that's what I thought. Like, gotta blast. But when I first blasted off, I was like, oh, this is nice. My furniture started flipping, like my dresser was on the other side. But then I started blasting off again. I was like, oh, here we go. Okay, it's still going. And I just kept blasting off. I was like, how high am I going to get?
How high into space am I?
But like, eventually it got to like the hallucinations. People have their stories, but when I came down, like, like it was all glitter. I saw everything so
Glitter.
sparkly,
Ooh,
and
that sounds fun.
and then when I asked my friend, he was supervising, like
good.
friend.
We have a good friend.
Yes,
Okay, good.
and I was like, how long was that? Because it felt like hours, but he was like 20 minutes. And I was like,
Yeah, I was gonna ask if you remember how long it was. So it was 20 minutes.
I don't, but
yeah.
it's only 20 minutes.
Did he have like a timer set up? Oh, our friend answered. Lots of texts going on. We'll get to that later. So, wow. And that one and only time that you did it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, like I wouldn't just do it again.
Yeah.
Like it was just for the experience.
You have to be like in a controlled environment and have, I guess, the want or need to do it. I don't know. Okay, so that's segueing into the rest of my stay or go questions. All right, let's get to it. Micole, we have blah, 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 blah. Spray tans.
Go.
Okay, why?
I don't know. What if it just sprays you in the wrong part or your eyes or face? I've never gotten a spray tan.
So you can't really say.
Yeah.
Okay. I got one once. It was just for my brother's wedding. It was a fun experience. You just feel gross after. It's like sticky.
Yeah, I don't like that. And
yeah.
some people turn a little orange.
Yeah, some people do a little too much. I agree. Okay, that was just a random one. I just wanted to get your reaction. What about get ready with me videos? What do you think of those? Stay or go?
Depends how long. I would say stay if you can keep it under a minute, that's fine. But if it's like a whole 15-minute session, go.
I totally agree. Nate is looking at me so confused right now. You have never seen a get ready with me on TikTok or Reels. They are to an extent, like Micole just said. But if they are longer than a minute, I'm like, why do you have this much time? Why do you have this much time in your life to be able to sit and set up your phone at all different parts of your day? Okay, anyway, that's a go for me. What are your thoughts on the Met Gala? It's in New York.
Oh, right. Yes, I did.
Do you even
hear
care?
about it? Not really, because I'm not a fan of big crowds. I'm not gonna put myself there, but I'll look at the news, see what happens and what the people wore.
Yeah,
it's always great outfits.
So you would say what to that?
Definitely stay. I have nothing against it. Just definitely haven't found the interest to check it out.
Yeah, that's okay. I just threw that in there. What do you think about fake plants?
I love them. I wouldn't say I have a green thumb or anything like that. I had even a cactus. It died in a month. I don't know how. So your plant holder that you crocheted,
yes,
that you crocheted for me. I have a really nice fake vine plant. And it's cute.
Thank you. Yeah. We stay with the fake plants. Okay. What do you think about? I feel like I couldn't think of any truly good ones for you for some reason. Unfortunately. Learning a TikTok dance, kind of going back to social media stuff. What do you think about learning a TikTok dance? Does that need to stay?
I think a lot of people improve on their dancing just learning dances in their room what it is. I just haven't gone to doing it myself. That's why I still can't dance.
Yeah. Well, we tried when we were in Gatlinburg, Tennessee.
We did.
Remember? That was a good time, but it was not good.
Not something to post.
Not post-worthy.
Really. Yeah.
No, we were not looking too hot. Okay. Can you using acronyms in regular conversation like LOL, TBH, BRB?
Oh, I don't do that.
So you say go to that.
I mean,
do you get annoyed when people do that? Like me?
I wouldn't usually occasionally.
Oh,
if someone were to use it for everything, in every sentence, I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, that would be a go, but on occasion, it's okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's think of one more. I want it to be with work. I guess, okay, we'll talk about that. Working remotely. I know you do it now.
To stay.
Stay.
Yes. I do find more of a hybrid role more balanced for
Agreed.
me. So,
Agree.
Right? Like maybe like a 3 days at home, 2 days in office.
Yeah, because all day, every day is a little much, right?
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
And I'm terrible at commuting. I'm always late.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You run late to a lot of things. No offense, you do.
I do now, yes.
Why do you think you were always like that, or
No.
what happened?
There's this saying I learned from Mr. Smith, our former band teacher.
Yeah.
What is it? To be early is to be on time. To be on time is
to be late.
And
yes.
to be late is not to be. But so far, for everything, I'm just not to be.
Not to be.
Literally, at my last role, 5 days in person, I would hide my backpack in the woman's bathroom and just sneak in and pretend I've been there the whole time.
Really?
Yeah, I have great coworkers
And they
who
didn't
cover
notice?
for me.
Okay, I was going to say,
Yes.
someone's got to notice that.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. So, any other... What was that? Was there a gunshot?
Or a firework.
Hopeful thinking. Maybe it's a firework because it's Labor Day. Any other thoughts? How do you feel you were during this podcast? Were you nervous?
Yeah.
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 It's okay. It's over. She did it, guys. Give Micole a follow, a like, a subscribe on her LinkedIn. Can you even
I don't think I
subscribe?
can subscribe. But you feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn. It's just Micole Madrazo.
Madrazo for her last name. And that's also Instagram, TikTok. What is your follow?
Yeah, my Instagram is just my full name.
Uh-huh.
My Venmo is mm248.
Yeah, Jessica started that trend. Good job. Yeah, send her some money, send her a follow, do all of the things. Oh, is that a firework or is that a gunshot? People can't hear, but we may be getting shot at right now. I don't know.
I can hear.
Okay.
We're not getting shot.
We're not getting shot at? Okay. Well, we're going to end this. Thanks for coming on the Stergo podcast.
Thanks for having
I
me.
love you. I miss you already. Bye. Thanks. Like, subscribe, follow the Stergo podcast.